All righty. Welcome back to the Beyond the Coach podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kelsey Nanini.
And I'm Chris Sweet.
And man, we've been on a roll with our podcast recording lately. We're like just doubling down. So if you watched one, I think this will post actually almost a month after the one that we just recorded. But we look the same. So that's probably why, if you're watching on YouTube,
we do.
We're grinding away to prep for Chris's move.
Crazy.
Coming up in less than a month. So
insane. Also, if you hear a little rippling noise, I've learned it's a candle. ASMR.
Candle chemistry. Oh, it's really hot because the candle's almost gone, so I can't like touch the bottom of it. It smells so good. It smells like fall.
My favorite thing about fall is like I will stock up on fall candles because I'm like, I need my house to smell like fall actually year round.
I've been really wanting to go and get like new fall decorations, like home goods. I literally haven't since I think 2018. When I went the first time like for our apartment, and I think maybe I've gotten little things here and there, but I'm like, Caden's gone this week, and I'm like,
you know, we love a good home goods haul. Like
I know.
It's the way that like once we move, I can't wait to go raid a Home Goods. Like I have had to really control myself. I've really had to focus on getting rid of things that we don't need so that I can make space for things we do need once we move. And a Home Goods haul like that, and just like a good stock of Facebook Marketplace. Like I can't wait to do both and just like make it work, make it happen.
I'm so hesitant to go buy new things though, because I don't want Burrow to destroy them.
You do have a Burrow.
And
the only thing we can't buy is apparently good comforters, because Enzo, that's the one thing Enzo eats is comforters.
Comforters, huh?
Yeah, comforters.
Him and Yogi get along. She just pees on them.
Great. He'll rip up the one she pees on. We'll have a balancing act.
That's fine. Have this one. Yeah, I know it's been so nice to just be able to put out any decor I want, because Otson, while he is a spicy dog, he's a sweet angel that doesn't destroy things. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, I don't know if the podcast can see this, but Burrow did that yesterday.
Oh my God.
To a new toy that we bought at Costco that I was like, oh, this thing's gonna last forever, because it was really sturdy and it had a rope inside and a second toy. We bought it on Sunday.
Yeah, no, they never last.
I'm going to go buy 3 because it actually was really nice. Before Caden was playing tug of war with him with it.
Yeah.
It was going to last forever, but
there are some dog toys that I'll send you that if a dog destroys it, they'll send you another toy for free back. There's a couple we've gotten for Enzo now, and they've actually lasted us.
Is it on is it a website? What's the one that people do subscriptions for toys?
It's not a subscription.
No. I always wondered, I'm like, why do people do subscription for toys for dogs? Because of Burrow.
Because of dogs like Burrow, they're like,
fathom it. We had this huge basket full of toys. It was overflowing with all the years that people had bought Otson toys. We had bought Otson toys. And he would just carry them around. Like, he was super sweet about them. Like, he took care of them like they were his little baby. The basket is empty. Like, it literally is like a third of the way full now. Burrow has quite literally torn through and I'm like, wow, now I understand why people actually have a Chewy. Now I understand why they have a subscription for Chewy, or there's another brand.
I know that there's like Bark boxes and stuff too. Yeah. The thing about Burrow, with you having a kid toys, baby toys.
I know.
You're gonna need to put those things in a safe. Like, literally, pacifiers need to go locked in a cabinet somewhere.
So true.
Babies are expensive at a baseline. Then you add a Burrow in a home with a baby, it gets so much more expensive.
Oh my God. And he's gonna destroy the kid's favorite toy. Like, that will happen, and then there will be just a whole problem.
You know how there's like sibling fights, and it's like, Mom, like, blah blah blah, like, ruin this. They're gonna be like, Mom, Burrow ate my homework, literally.
Burrow ate my homework. Otson already found I registered for like this really cute, it was like plush dumbbells, the one I showed you on our call last week. And Otson already like put it in his mouth and was just walking. But that's what he does. He just puts it in his mouth and he'll trot around with it. Never has destroyed a toy. Burrow, meanwhile, is eyeing it, and I'm like, absolutely not. Get out of here. You cannot be buying these toys.
Nope.
Plush toys are not. We're gonna have to just have our kids gonna have just plastic toys.
Indestructible dog toys are actually going to be your baby toys.
Literally, and I'm like, actually, you don't get toys, kid. You get the dog toys because Burrow destroys them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to be upset.
Yep, correct, exactly.
Oh.
I cannot wait for the Burrow stories once baby's here, just to hear the
I'm
madness.
terrified for like when the babies like can walk and like toddler age with Burrow.
Yeah. It's gonna be
terrifying.
an Olympic sport, actually.
Haunts my nightmares. I'm gonna be so active, and then by the time that they're meddling, we'll have another kid eventually, and that will be a whole new thing because we'll have a meddling dog and toddler, and then a child, a baby. So
It all compounds.
terrifying. We'll have to have a live-in nanny just to handle our lives.
Yeah.
But I feel like we just had a really nice, gentle conversation about dogs and babies to start this podcast off. And then we're about to just get real spicy today. So that was like a perfect, if you like talked about enjoyed the talk about dogs and babies, well, I'm glad we introduced you to the podcast in a very nice way because we're about to just tear into you. So
welcome to the jungle.
Do you want to prompt the topic for today?
Yes. So Kelsey and I spent many hours going through actually like refining our ideal client and like our mission and values and all these things that we hold. And one thing that we did too was looking at the principles at which like we hold ourselves as coaches and then what principles we want our clients to hold themselves as. And our whole like ideal client is just a high achiever, right? There's someone who sets a standard for themselves and wants to be there, or they've set a standard and they've reached it and now they're working on maintaining it, and like they don't know anything less than really that standard, than that lifestyle that they've set for themselves. The funny thing is when you set a standard for yourself and you don't reach that standard, you can sometimes be a little hypocritical because then you're setting a standard for everyone else in your life. A high achiever is going to set high standards for other people in their lives. They're just going to, whether that's their partner, their friends, their family. And if you're a coach, your clients. And that's kind of the premise of this is like, you can't set a high standard for someone if you're not reaching that own standard yourself. Like you can't continue to miss the mark, but expect everyone else not to and get super frustrated from that. And this has just been really getting on my nerves lately. And I'm just like, we need to talk about it because I'm not one to not call people out on their shit. Like Kelsey and I both, we're like oil and oil coming together and like mixing up. It's not oil and water. We can light it on fire. We're ready to go. We mix perfectly oil and water. And then looking at that, it's just so frustrating for me because as a coach who like coaches, that's like the main focus we obviously have. I work so hard to hold myself to a standard. Like I know that I can't expect my clients, even my coach clients, to be like holding their clients to an expectation if I'm not holding my clients to that expectation that their clients are holding them. It's like this compound effect. And when you notice that you're not holding a standard, one of two things happen, and this is one of the values that we had set out when we were refining our ideal client, our missions, is being coachable, like being coachable and being able to take feedback and know that like it's not coming from a place of us being an asshole. It's actually coming from a place of like literally shit Kelsey and I had to learn. Like we had to learn it for ourselves. The fitness industry is actually really small. It's really small. But one of the biggest things that you need to have in this industry is respect, not only towards others, but also towards your own self and the word that you are holding.
Yeah. Word. That's all we had today. Thanks for listening.
That's it. 9 minutes in. See you next time.
It's like the interlude in like any album where you're just like, oh, 30 seconds, sick. Okay, next song. But no, it's so true. And it's actually something that I see more often than not in coaches. And I think it's because we have this, I don't know what it necessarily is because I don't think I've ever actually possessed this trait, but it's like I'm a coach. I know what I'm doing. So it's okay if I let myself off the hook in XYZ, in whatever it is. But you know what? Letting yourself off the hook once in a while, I get it. I totally get it. once. But when it's
Yeah.
repetitive, repeated, it's like you actually aren't any better than the clients you're coaching now. And I think a lot of client coaches have that false standard of like, well, I am a coach. And some coaches do have like that imposter syndrome of like, oh my gosh, I'm a coach and I'm not doing the thing. But I think a lot of them have that false standard of like, oh, I am a coach. And majority of the time I do the thing, but I do let myself off the hook a lot and they just don't realize it because they don't want to admit that they're in this so-called authority, but they aren't holding themselves to that authority. And that's why coaches also need coaches, because we are the ones holding the mirror up for you and being like, what the fuck? Like, why aren't you doing the thing? And it's crazy when, coaches, especially if you are running your own business as well, there's a lot of things you have to do. It's not just, and I used to think, I'm like, how hard can it be to run a coaching business? There's not that much stuff to do. And like last night I was sitting there and I was like,
the coaching industry said, hold my beer.
yeah, I was sitting on the couch last night and I was like, holy shit, like there are so many elements to running a coaching business that people don't consider and probably aren't doing. And it started like, I'm like, wow, actually I do have a lot to do. Crazy, especially like today. I have like so many calls, and I know you mentioned you had a ton of calls today too. And
I'm in like full sprint mode right now with the move. I'm like, my days are just like 10-hour, 12-hour work days right now. I'm like, I'm
super sick.
My time on it is like really packed right now. I'm like, this is just a weird week.
My time on it this week, it's like an hour of time where it's like I finish a task in like 45 minutes and then it's like a semicolon and I'm like doing 6 other small tasks in there and I'm like, this is so bad. But it's actually making me realize it doesn't take that long to actually do the tasks I'm doing. So it's been helpful, but I'm also like, this is really a mess.
Yeah.
But
to your point, there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it.
I think for coaches, it can be really easy to sit there and be like, I'm really not happy in my coaching business. I'm really not happy. I don't feel like I'm getting clients. I feel like it's really hard for me to do content. And I think it's really easy to sit there and be like, this is just hard. And I feel like I just don't, I don't understand why the things aren't happening. And what I often find is it's because as a coach, you aren't prioritizing yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's the number one thing when your business isn't thriving is that your business is coming first. And while yes, there are periods of time where the business does come first. For you right now, you're about to move. In order to have the freedom when you do move to not be super stressed about work, you are grinding it out right now. That makes sense. For me, the next 3 months, I am grinding it out because I want to have like all my programming done for when I pass off like clients to other coaches for maternity leave. I don't want to have another coach do it. So I'm grinding through all my programming for the next 3 months on top of my other tasks, on top of training people to do the things that I do so that I can take a maternity leave. But majority of the time, you do have to come first. And when clients come in and start to actually prioritize themselves versus prioritizing their business actually just does really well. Because now we're actually holding the standard for you instead of you trying to hold it to yourself. But I know this wasn't necessarily about having a coach. It's just something that I see in the coaching industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think in having a coach, it's like the standard you're expecting of other people, right? You're expecting these people to buy into your program. You get on a sales call with someone and that person doesn't buy in, right? Or let's say they are like, yeah, I'm in, send me the contract, but like I need to sign it later. And then the next day comes and we all know this narrative. They don't sign the fucking contract. They send you a message and they back out. What do? You get really frustrated. How many times have you done that to someone else? Like how many times have you gone and backed out on your word? Like it's harsh. Like we did not come in today to this podcast being like, we're going to be nice. Like I say this because I love coaches. I say this because I love the coaching industry and because like I've had to have my ass kicked by the industry to know like what it expects of me. And if you are getting frustrated by people on the internet because they're not committing to themselves and your program by proxy, ask yourself, have you committed to yourself? Like, have you committed to your own life, your own goals, your own process? Because if you haven't, that's probably why you don't know how to navigate some of those objections. That's probably why you don't know how to navigate some really sensitive client scenarios that are coming up. And that's probably why clients also leave the program at that point and why your retention doesn't do really well. It is a compounding effect. And I can speak on My client Maya, freaking love this girl. She's on fire. She came in and like our sales call that we had together, she was just talk about embodiment of a coach. She looks the part. Like she is fit, she is strong, she checks the boxes, she's doing the things. But she did not feel confident in her own self as a coach. She felt like, I don't know what my clients are even coming into. Like, what are they coming into in my program? I don't freaking know. Also, I don't know how to be authoritative. I don't know how to really stand that because it's so funny. She's in the military. She's like a badass, but like it's those people that end up just struggling so much with like confidence and authority and bringing that out. And by working together now, one, we're now like periodizing her nutrition again for the first time in a long time. She had just kind of been like eating what she was eating, training what she was training. There was really no method to the madness at which she was doing it. It was kind of more so just boxes that she was checking because she knew that those boxes needed to be checked. But by coming into coaching, she's now tracking her food. We've periodized her training. She did a whole triphasic a plan with me, which was like, we love I mean, I have a love height. When you are doing triphasic, it kind of sucks. But when you're a coach programming triphasic, you kind of love it. You're like, this shit's cool. And now she's going into a bulk and we've already planned it out for the rest of the year. And she just feels so like steady and grounded in her own health that now, since starting with us, she closes more deals seamlessly. She's started an in-person group like meetup program for free for people to come, and people are just like meeting up with her. We started like shooting the shit with different ideas. She could like have people come to hikes and like do hikes during the on season and then go to the gym and host a free training. Like her brain and her creativity has literally just exploded because finally she's so grounded in herself that she knows what she wants. And coaches are so freaking quick to blame sales and marketing for poor results in their business. They're like, well, that reel just didn't pop off. Well, they're just not responding. Well, it's just really hard to find leads, which, dude, Kelsey and I have made that excuse too. Trust me, like we get stuck in that at times. But at least you need to look within and look at the energy at which you are outputting and inputting, vice versa, into yourself and then into your social media. Because when I'm down in the dumps or if I'm not grounded in myself, my social media shows that. Like suddenly my content I just feel disconnected. I'm showing up. I'm forcing my words. I don't feel great. I'm getting on sales calls. I'm not excited. I'm not sharky for sales calls. I'm not feeling that vibe. Whereas when I'm grounded in myself and like my routines and like really where I'm at right now in my health and fitness, it comes so easy. And that's like Maya is the perfect example of that in how she's been able to grow group coaching programs and just have more confidence showing up for herself. And also now less overwhelmed because she's offloaded this area of her life that was kind of just like at maintenance mode for a while, which isn't a bad thing, but she wasn't at the highest standard that she knew she could be at. And now, because she has a coach, she's being held to this high standard. And then she's now holding her clients to this high standard. It's gotten to the point where we've had to have discussions of like, hey, here's hard conversations you now need to have with your clients. And here's how we're going to frame that. Because now she's expecting better of even her clients in the program and not letting them walk all over her.
Yeah, for sure. And to that point, like having an external person that you have to go to, I hear it all the time, and just like lifestyle clients as well. It's like, I want someone to report to. And I'm like, I get that. And I think it's important temporarily, but at some point you do have to show up for yourself. And for me, I don't have a coach right now. It is easier for me when I do have a coach to be able to like show up in all aspects. Like I actually just feel like I'm on my shit more, but I had one for so long that now I just hold myself to the standard. I had a coach for so long that now it's just like, that's just something that happens. Like it would be no question of me going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and tracking my macros because that's what makes me feel best and just eating well. And part of me just is tracking my macros to make sure I'm eating enough and enough protein and enough fiber. Those are the small things that happen. But I think it's so interesting, in work in general, you brought up, like, it's easy to be like, oh, the leads just aren't coming in. Well, it's like, are you doing the actions? And for you and I, it was something where we weren't sending messages to potential clients and we were struggling with DMs because we had so many other things to do. But it was like, we kind of had a call. Well, our mentor called us out on our shit, was like, you need to just do the thing. You need to go and send 20 DMs. And now I'm doing this time audit this week and I'm sending 20 DMs and I literally can send them in less than 20 minutes. I can get out 20 DMs. given we are running an ad, so it's a little easier. But even days when the ad wasn't running on Monday, I just poof got out I think I got out 25, and it was easy. But it's because I was just sitting down and I was like, I have to do this thing. There's no option to do it. And I think for a lot of coaches, you get stuck in this mindset of like, oh, I just don't have the time. Okay, well, when was the last time you actually audited your time to know that you don't have the time?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes if you're complaining about your business not growing, sometimes it's okay to coast in business. I have a few clients right now that are getting to the point where they're capping their rosters and they're like, I just want to do a push for fall so that I can coast. And I'm like, sick. Then let's grind right now. I'll take Nicole for an example. She actually mentioned this, like she had this huge, successful, massive launch, and she's one of your WWBA clients. She's my fitness coaching client. Had this massive launch. It went so well. She like filled the entire container, and she's like, normally I just coast after a launch, and I'm like, hey, that's not a bad thing. She's like, Chris told me like I just have to go because I want to fill my roster, and I'm like, exactly. But that's such a good point. I'm like, first of all, I, for one, am totally fine with you coasting post-launch because it took so much of your energy. However, you want to fill your roster and you have like 3 to 4 spots to fill your roster and then just be full. Then keep grinding. If you have the capacity to keep grinding, which she does, she kind of chilled for the summer purposefully. And I've always told clients this, I'm like, you can somewhat make your business seasonal if you actually want it to be. Like if you want to coast in the summer, that's totally fine. But that means you're grinding the hell out of yourself in the spring and the early winter, like the beginning of the year, the first 6 months of the year, so that you can chill out a little bit in the summer and not feel like you have to constantly be pushing sales. If you want to chill out during the holidays, cool. Then September, October, and even probably the summer, then you're grinding, right? But I think it's so easy for us to tell ourselves like, oh, there's just no clients this month. There's just no we had our, what was it, June or was it July? It was June. We had, no, it was July because August wasn't as great. August took a step back.
What are you referencing?
Like our biggest month.
Oh, I was like, which one?
We had one of our biggest months in July, and we just never even thought it was possible, but we still beat ourselves up because things happened in July we didn't necessarily want. Like we had quite a few cancellations, but we actually had a huge month in July. And historically, it's just really easy to tell yourself that story of, oh, it's the summer, no one cares. And the given, we did feel that a little bit in August. And I think a lot of people felt that in August.
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, we've been doing the things in September. And it's been a fucking great month so far. But it's because we stopped telling ourselves, oh, we are too busy for that. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, this and that. And I think so many coaches get caught up in that. And it's like, get out of your own shit. Like you have a standard. You want your business to be in a certain place. Well, then that means other parts of your life have to take a backseat right now because you want your business to be in a certain spot.
Yeah. Something that I had a huge takeaway and honestly like kind of smacked me in the face at the event that we went to in Austin. I forget which speaker was talking, but one of them literally said, they were like, you came, I think it was Kendall actually. She was like, you came here to eat, so fill your fucking plate. Like she said it so bluntly to a group of 17 entrepreneurs who are, you know, at least earning 10K plus months right now. And the way she said it, I felt it in my soul. I like my entire body just had like a moment of like, damn, I needed to hear that. And I think that in a world that, and this might piss some people off, everyone's so fucking sensitive nowadays. Like we live in such a sensitive society in comparison to, again, and I know we always talk about like our 2019 eras and 2020 eras. It was like you just did it in 2019 and 2020. Like there was no emotion. You literally just fucking did it. Tired, anything. I'm thinking when you were like, do it hard. It's like,
do it hard. We did it. Do it hard.
You really did. Versus now it's like, okay, I can do it tired, but this happened and this happened and this circumstance and this circumstance and and I need to listen to my body and like, you know, whatever. It's like, I hear you, but how many times do you need to say that before you are now making the exact same excuses your own client is making that you were trying to coach someone through? And so I've been using that term a lot with, you know, clients and with social media and just saying like, hey, you came here to eat. So fill the plate. Like you can, and that's literally what I said to Nicole, I'm pretty sure was like the reference point was, you know, she came in and she was like, hey, I just had this great launch. I have like 4 more spots open. Like, I really think and she said, she was like, I want to fill these spots. So I said, okay, we're going to fill them. Like, and we're going to do the things you want to eat. You want to fill these 4 client spots. Fill the plate of what is going to help you get those clients. She's already sold one. She already sold one of the 4. I was like,
this week,
cool. Literally,
she's
this
just
week.
like, fuck it.
And then it was so funny too, because originally before, and I don't think she'll hear me saying this, I'm like, right after I told her, like, yeah, you're going to go sign 4 clients. She was like, yeah, like the hard part is that I feel like I've already gone through all my leads because of the launch I just did, yada, yada, yada. And we were like, hey, I hear you, but like, there's literally billions of people in the world. Like, you just need to get back into that routine. Lo and behold, the next day was when she sold the person that she just sold. And then right after that, she was like, oh yeah, and now I have a call with another client's like husband next week. And I'm like, look at you just getting resourceful. Like, you have all the resources in the world that when you really want to fucking do something, you're going to do it. And this is my mom, like, has had me live by this my whole life. Like, my mom has taught me a lot of lessons, 2 of them being, 1, never say can't. Like, when I played soccer growing up, my mom was my coach, and like, I'm saying like scary coach, like scary mom, soccer mom coach. Like, I was, talk about being held to a standard. Like, when your mom is your soccer coach, you're like literally fucked. You're like, okay, great. Like, there's no favoritism. Like, you are literally like, you're doing more laps. You're doing more of it. And she taught all of us this on our team. She always taught us, like, you never say can't, right? If we were tired and we were like, we can't do it, we're too tired. She was like, never say can't, because that is immediately a belief that you are making in your mind. You are immediately assuming that you cannot do something without actually testing if you can. Like, go see if you truly can for a second, and you're probably going to push yourself a little farther than that moment when you told yourself you can't. And the other thing too was that, she was like, you've always figured out how to survive 100 of the terrible things and circumstances that you have been under. You will survive this one. So for anybody who gets stuck in that cycle of like, well, how am I going to find 4 more clients, or how am I going to do this, or how am I going to do that? You're going to be able to do it because you've done it before. You've proven to yourself that you will do it. When I first started building a business, whenever I had a dry month, like literally not a single lead, I literally would get into these mindsets of like, cool, no one wants to work with me. I'm never going to sign another client again. Yeah. This is it. Like, I'm at my max. Like, lo and behold,
business is over.
Business is over after that, 30 days of no one signing on. And then it's funny because then you sell another person. You're like, oh, cool. Like that's something that, like, even through the year that we have had of like highs and lows of merging a business and all the things that have come with it, we've definitely had low months, but like, we've always gone and we've always signed another person. And I think that's like the big thing, is that we've never said we couldn't do something. We've never said, oh, we can't do that, or we can't make that happen. Like, you just do. You do because you want something. And so going back to like, coaches with that we coach, and like health and fitness itself, it's like, you need to be holding that standard. You need to be living the very standard that you do expect of your clients. Otherwise, those excuses, those can'ts, and those thoughts, and those, limiting beliefs, they do start to suddenly become actually permission slips for your clients to go do that very thing too. And your clients see that. And then you now are giving out grace like it's candy. Like, you are like, yeah, everything's like, that's okay that you had this, and whatever. Oh yeah, totally fine that you like missed my call this last week. Like, no, it's not okay you missed the call. You made a commitment to me to show up. Where are you? Like, you have to start holding a higher standard for your clients. Otherwise, they are now in the driver's seat, and you are in the passenger seat. You're passenger princess to your clients, driving their goals all over the place.
No, absolutely not. And I think, we live in like you were saying, everyone is so offended by everything now that I think a lot of coaches are afraid to give clients that tough love. Tough love doesn't need to be like, what the fuck's your problem? Why aren't you doing this thing? Like, I'm doing it. Like, it doesn't have to be that way, but it's like, hey, what's happening? Why is this happening? And the reason why you have inconsistent clients is you're afraid to call them on their shit. Mm-hmm. And when you're afraid to call them on their shit, it's probably because you also aren't doing the thing, which is part of the reason. Like, part of my drive is like, I can't let my clients down. Like, I'm doing the thing. They're doing the thing, then I have to be doing the thing. But it's also just internal at this point. Like, I'm just like, no, like, it's just going to happen. That's a standard I have for myself, but it's because I built it over time. Mm-hmm. And I think for coaches that are really struggling, especially coming out of summer, right? Like, there was actually, I will say, my clients on my roster crushed summer. Like, they actually great in summer. Some of them are struggling though. And you know, I you have to look at it from a standpoint of like, yeah, sure, summer was tough, but like, how do I get out of this? And it can be easy to just get in that slump. And I'll be honest, like in August, when we weren't having a great month, like we did not have a great month in August. Probably one of our worst months in a while. And it can be really easy to look at a month and be like, well, shit, like, how are we going to sustain this? How are we? And we did have some panic in there, but I was like, no, like, we just have to go and change the thing. Like, if we want to fill our coaches rosters, if we want to have a business that is just able to sustain itself long term, which our mentor did like reassure us, like, hey, you still, made X amount of money. You still have this going for you. Like, you have sustainability, but for us, it's not enough. And I think it was easy
of the standard that she
standard
knows. And that's what I love about Kendall is she's like,
Yes.
hey, cool, I'm going to validate you, but also like you're still supposed to be here. Like there's this
Yes.
gap and we're going to push you to that. And I think that's the cool part of it.
100%. And even for myself as like someone who holds a high standard, it's really hard when you are competitive and when you do have a standard that sometimes when you don't reach that standard, it's easy to look at it and be like, well, why the fuck am I doing this? And can I even do this forever? And that was a thought I had in August, and I didn't share it because I was like, no, like this is freaking stupid. Like I'm being dumb. Like they're quite literally, and every time I'm like, well, can I even do this long term? First of all, I'm like, well, what else would I be doing? Like, I don't have anything else to do.
You're like, I'm actually screwed because I have no
actually
other
screwed myself.
skill set, talent, nothing.
I quite literally only know fitness. So I'm screwed in that sense. But it's also way bigger than me. And I think that's where when coaches get into these mindsets of poor me, what am I going to like, I shouldn't even be doing this anymore. Or like they just start slipping and like not holding themselves to the standard. You don't have a big enough why. For me, it was just like for a very long time, it was like, well, I want freedom, just not even financial freedom. It was like freedom to just do whatever the fuck I want. Like with my husband, we can go on vacation. I can work on vacation. I can do whatever I want. I can also just have freedom during the day. I can go to Costco at 11 a.m. if I want to today. I'm not gonna because I don't need to. But actually, I need to get some more toys for Burrow, so I probably could. But I wanted the freedom to be able to do those things, and I hated working for someone else. My why has changed a little bit. Like when I had those thoughts in August, I was like, well, I want to be there for my kid. I want to be able to have them grow up and be here and not have to put a child in daycare. Maybe I do have a nanny, but they're still here and I get to help them grow up. And like, I did grow up in daycare. I'm perfectly fine, I will say, but daycare is also really fucking expensive. Expensive. Just for a kid to come home with 6 illnesses every week. And I also like something that Kaden and I talked about way long ago before we even had a thought of having kids was Kaden was like, I need to switch careers because I want to be the dad who can go and pick their kid up at 2 p.m. And now I'm like pregnant and that makes me emotional because it's so sweet. But like, it's like, sometimes I like want to cry. Shit, I hate that. Pregnancy's wild.
Pregnancy has turned you into a whole
a completely different person.
I feel like we're gonna switch roles. I feel like it's normal for me to cry and not for you, and then like you're gonna have a baby, and then I'm gonna not cry, and then you're gonna.
Dude, pregnancy hormones change you so much. I'm like, I'm a whole new person. Like the other day, I was crying listening to the TikTok sound that I used. That was like, next thing you know, I'm like in the car with Kaden on the way to like go sit in like baby like nursing chairs, and I'm like crying at the stoplight, and he's like, stop listening to the song. Like, anyways, now my why is different because I'm like, it's not even just the freedom though. It's like having my kid grow up with a mom who owns a business. And this isn't just throw any shade at a mom who decides to stay home and not work, or a mom who does go and work 9 to 5. But for me, I want my kid to grow up and know like anything is possible. Like you can quite literally do anything you want. I had 2 parents who worked W-2, very steady jobs. They're a teacher and an accountant, and they were still so supportive of me, and I felt very supportive like growing up. But I want to be able to, there's no ceiling to owning a business. And I think how badass is it to grow up with a mom who, one, owns a fitness business that like helps improve the health of other people, but also just owns a business in general and like does the thing. Like I think that's so fucking badass, and that's now part of my why is like, that's a bigger thing. That's something bigger than myself And now I have even a bigger standard to hold myself to like prove to my family that I can do it. And it's not just my husband that needs to be the provider. Like, I'm doing the fucking thing. And I think a lot of coaches, maybe you just don't have a big enough why yet. And you need to find that why to keep yourself in that higher standard mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. Kenneth and I sat down this past week actually, and we did like a whole map out of our debts. Like we literally looked at all of our debts and we made like a month by month by month. Like by the end of next year, we'll pretty much be like debt free, which is going to be really awesome because we transparently collected a lot of debt from Bo and all of the cancer and shit and 2 emergency surgery. Like we had 2 $20,000 surgeries unexpectedly in 2023 that like we're still paying down, like, you know. And it's so funny because as I was sitting there and Kenneth and I were mapping all of this out, we're going obviously based on like current income. We're like, if nothing changes, this is where we're at. This is what like month by month we're going to be doing. This is our game plan. And I kept saying continuously as we were talking, I was like, but when I make more money, but when like I'm bringing home more, but when I'm doing this. And that's the cool part of when you're an entrepreneur is like, it's less of, oh, but if we can afford it, it's like, but when I can, like when I can actually be able to pay this off faster, when I can actually do that faster, it's a really cool, empowering thing. But you can get stuck in the discouragement that is, oh, I can't afford that. Or you can get actually really committed and convicted in the idea of what the future holds for yourself because you did the very work that you said you were going to do. I'm going to fill the plate. I'm going to make it happen. Like I'm very motivated right now with moving and all these things. Like you're going to have seasons of life where you are more motivated than others. It's the same thing in the gym. You're going to have moments where you want to wake up and get to the gym and crush it. And then days where you're like, absolutely not. That's the last thing I want to do. But guess what? You show up anyways. Like you show up anyways in the capacity that you promised for yourself, or at least following through in like the actions, even if the capacity itself feels a little bit different day to day. And I think that's the most important is like Kelsey and I say all of this because we've seen coaches crumble because they haven't focused on their embodiment and they haven't focused on their confidence and they haven't focused on walking the walk and setting the standard and hitting the standard and having that be such like the forefront of why they're doing what they're doing. And when they don't have that, they crumble. You need to have those things. And nothing that Kelsey and I teach, the craziest part of all this, there's no secret sauce. There's literally no secret to what we do with our coaches that come to work with us. But what is different is the standard at which we hold that person. The secret sauce is nothing but literally a standard that we don't let our coaches slip on because they said they would do something, because they set a goal for themselves. And when you set a goal, like I'm going to be here to validate your goals, not your excuses, not your objections, not those things. You can say, oh, I really want to commit to this, but you know, I finances, whatever, I have this. It's like, hey, I hear you, but you just said that you were going to make an extra like 10K by the end of the year. If you made an extra 10K, wouldn't this be like a yes, like a no-brainer if you really believe that? They're like, oh yeah. And then they commit. And now they're in the program. And Maya's the perfect example. She's making more money. She came in and she was like, I know I can't afford this, but I'm going to do it. Now she's making more money and she can afford the program, no problem. It's crazy what happens when you just push aside those thoughts that happen so deeply and more so just have faith and belief in yourself. That's all you need.
Yeah. And I think too, it just goes back to just like having that the why be the main point, because like I remember when I was business coach and people would come in and I'd do their onboarding call with them and I'm like, cool, like why are you here? They're like, I want to make 10K months. And I'm like, cool, why? They're like, I just want to make 10K. I'm like, so you want to make 120K a year? That's it, that's all you want to do? Yeah. I'm like, cool, you're gonna like, I want to be like, cool, like you'll be failing out of the program shortly, because it's when money is the only thing and out of no reason at all. Like, sure, I would love to make 120K a year. That's great. I mean, in today's day and age, that's really not making anything, sadly. Sadly, to afford life. But it is great income, right? At the end of the day, why though? Why is that the number? You have no why. And I think we saw so many coaches get into the space just to make money. And it's like, if that was your goal, then go do something else. That's not fitness. Like, go start a cleaning company. Go buy a laundromat. I don't know. Go do something like boring that doesn't require you to actually be in the care of other people. Because you just have to have a bigger why. And mine has always been that I do want to help people. I love nutrition and fitness. I can't imagine doing something else. Like maybe I do something on top of this, but also like my why has also always been clients and being able to help people feel better. And now it is helping coaches reach their goals within their coaching and reach their financial goals and all of that. So when you have a goal that's bigger than yourself or a why that's bigger than yourself, it makes it so much easier. But I think also when you haven't touched that before, it's hard to hold yourself to that standard. And that's where you maybe do need someone to hold you accountable to reaching that so you actually feel what that feels like. I think a lot of people just don't believe it's possible. They see it on Instagram and they're just like, oh, couldn't be me. Like, I wish I could be there. It's like, why can't it? Why can't it be you? Like,
Mhm.
why can't you be there? And so I think that that's a big thing as well, is it may seem unrealistic now. That's the cool part. I
Mhm.
love the feeling of it being unrealistic. I remember when 50K months felt unrealistic. Like that was like, oh, we're not gonna get there. We're a new company. We did it in like 4 months of being a new company, which is
Mhm.
sick. And now the next goal feels unrealistic till it's not. So um I think setting unrealistic high standards for yourself, we always talk about goals being like realistic, but fuck it. Do the unrealistic thing and hold yourself to it and just go do it. Like just do the thing.
Yeah.
Um like you said, you wanted to eat, so like fill your plate up.
Yeah. And like asking yourself too those questions, like, do you live with the same discipline and the same resilience and the same follow through that you expect of your clients, of your friends, of your family, even of your mentor, right? Like, are you following through on that exact same thing that you're expecting of people that you're paying money for? For example, you expect your mentor to show up to your weekly calls or monthly calls or whatever cadence of calls that you have with a mentor. If you don't show up, you've immediately dropped that standard for yourself. You've immediately missed the mark completely because you expect that of everyone else. So you need to show up in the same way. If you are a coach who works with a coach and you aren't submitting your check-ins, but then you get frustrated because your clients aren't submitting their check-ins, come on. Like really, like we got to work on that. And I think when you do work with a mentor, I did not get where I'm at today without having mentors that just like pushed me. That literally just, and that includes fitness and business coaches. Like by continuously having mentors that got to help me and hold me to a standard, it made the world of a difference. It truly did. And at the end of the day, what we do for our clients is we give them the standard and we hold that. We also model the standard ourselves in order to still stay in conviction and embodiment. We give them the systems that they need in order to succeed and to obviously focus on client fulfillment, client delivery, to stay steady in all of that. And then holding them accountable when those things happen, when motivation dips, when you have those limiting beliefs and those doubts, because like you're going to have it and you will always kind of cheat yourself before you cheat anyone else. Like that's the whole premise. So I would say for just everything that we do, and I just love it. Like I love truly the embodiment piece. I love seeing coaches step into the type of mentor they want to be to their own clients. It's just really cool to see that evolution, but you don't do it without doing some really uncomfortable things in the beginning, and getting really honest with yourself. Like that's what it is.
I was gonna say that too. Like I was gonna say like it's being like honest and realistic with yourself. Like
Mm-hmm.
we brought up the theme of we live in a very soft world now. Everyone is offended. And like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy now where we had a lot of people burning out in 2020. They're afraid of that again. And or like 2021, even 2022, all those years, right? I did it. And now I just know how to play smart. I know how to not burn out because I know how to work smarter and not harder. But I think a lot of coaches are very much so in their feminine of, oh, well, I just listen to my body and I do this. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going to listen to your body, then all the time, you're probably not going to push the limit enough to get to where you want to be. If you want to be to a certain point, like I will say, if you have a financial goal, I always go back to that because I think it's just the easiest thing. If you want to make 20, 30K months, or maybe you just want to fill your roster up, that's not going to come without effort and without trying and without having to push past a limit that you're setting right now. Like if you just keep doing the same things you're doing right now, you're going to elicit these same results that you're doing right now. It's not just going to magically poof like, wow, all of a sudden all these clients came in. It's so crazy. It's like, okay, but like what was the effort that changed there? And I think it's just getting really honest with yourself. And it does require a little bit more push and a little more discomfort. And you have to be okay with that happening at some points of the year, but also finding a way to like maintain that cadence to some point so that your business isn't crumbling at times during the year and you're not panicking. Like the feeling of panicking because you're not doing well enough, that far outweighs like that pain far outweighs just the pain of having to just sit down and do the thing.
Totally. And so I think really asking yourself that question, am I willing to live the same standard I expect of clients, of friends, of family? And if you are, go do a little audit on yourself. If you're like, yeah, I'm willing to do that, like 100%, go audit your social media, go audit your conversations with clients, go audit some check-ins, go audit your own health and fitness. If you haven't checked in with your own self in like months, go audit those things. And then you set, and then you go and do it. And there's going to be this ripple effect that happens because of it. Your social media gets better. Your client results get better. Your client relationships get better. They're stronger. You're no longer actually having to deal with some of the things that may be a struggle right now because you've just stepped into it. And I just don't see enough coaches doing that. That to be completely honest, not to like toot our own horn, that don't work with us. Like if I just see it in so many coaches that don't have a coach themselves. And I think sometimes the first standard that you need to set is the same commitment that you are asking of all your potential clients. And that is hiring a coach or a mentor or asking for help or having something offloaded off your plate, because at the end of the day, it goes a long way and you're not always going to get where you want to go by yourself. Like it is faster together when you have someone by your side.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That's why I am thankful for like our partnership too, because if I'm not holding my end of the deal up in business, it's really freaking embarrassing to be like, yeah, I didn't do that. And so that's where not everyone has a business partnership, but that's where a coach can come in handy. Cause I'd be like, hey, like, did we get this done? No, I just didn't find the time. I'm like, why? Mm-hmm. So I think it's just helpful to have that extra piece. Obviously, it's really important to be self-motivated and have your reasonings and have the standards you hold. But also when you have that external person, it doesn't hurt either.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. At the end of the day, do a little audit of yourself.
Time audits.
Do a little checkaroo, an honest check on all the things, system check on yourself of just figuring out what is optimal, what is not optimal, and what can you do right here, right now that's going to make the biggest difference. And the last thing I'll say too, don't be the person who's like, well, in 6 months and in a year and in this and in that. What do you need to do now? Not, oh, in 6 months, I'll do this, or in 6 months, I'll work on that project, or, oh, in 12 months or in 3 months or whatever. Cut the shit, what needs to happen, and go do it. Like genuinely, if you just remove the buts and all the ifs and the ands and the things that you add. I actually had that happen with a client the other day. They were like, yeah, like I really want to do this, but, and before she could even finish her sentence, I said, what did you just say? And she was like, oh, but I was like, no, that. I was like, I was almost like, why did you say that? She goes, oh, well, because, I have this, And I was like, but how does that prevent you from doing the thing that you want to do? Like, how is something external, like that isn't even related to like you necessarily affecting like this goal that you have? And she was like, oh shit, like you're right. I said, yeah. Like stop saying but. I challenge all you guys for like the next 24 hours, remove but from your vocabulary, because you're going to realize the amount of excuses you make. And that myself included, I have said plenty of buts. And the last thing I'll add to actually relates back to like my fitness journey right now. I was having a discussion with my coach, and my coach was saying, we were just mapping out the whole year, not the whole, well, actually, yeah, because the whole rest of the year with like the move and upcoming travels and the goals that I have for next year and all these things. And I really appreciated her for this, because she literally said, she was like, Chris, I just want to say, like, I'm really proud of you for going about this GI protocol the way that you have, because you have every excuse in the book. You had every excuse in the book. Like, obviously I started about 6 weeks ago. She was like, you had every excuse in the book not to do it. Like, she was like, the amount of clients that I try to get to follow this protocol, but they're like, oh, but my Aunt Sally is visiting this weekend, and oh, my friend is doing this, and da 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 da. she was like, you didn't make one excuse. There was no like, oh, well, but I have this, and this. It was like, okay, I have these things. How do I work around them? Versus seeing them as like a dead end, like a
Yeah.
road closed sign. I'm seeing it as, where's the detour? Like, where do I allow myself to just like reroute based on this scenario? And I really appreciated that, but it was almost like great validation for me to be like, yeah, like I didn't make the excuses, because there was a version of myself that would have made the excuses. And also, if I was coaching myself, I probably would have made the excuses. Like, having someone else hold me to that has made a world of a difference in this season of life. And that includes the scooter accident and grief and all the things. Like, I have been working with her since the December of last year. Will come up on our year in December. Little did I know when I committed to her in December, I was going to have the year I had. And I still committed. I still followed through. I still set goals. And I'm just saying, like, you guys can too. Like, obviously there's limits and there's differences in everybody's capacity, but like, if you really challenge yourself to it, you might surprise yourself.
Yeah. Something that came up, I'll just add this last thing, is something that came up when we were doing all the planning of what we want our business to look like and what our mission is and all that, was like excuses. And like, our ideal client and just the people that come into our program, they don't look at their excuses as excuses. They actually just look at them as reasons. So it's like, if you just reframe in your mind, it's like using the excuse, I'm too busy. Okay, well, that's why you now have to prioritize all these other things, because if you don't, then what happens? You just fall to the wayside. So if you are busy, cool. That gives you a reason to find 30 minutes, an hour of your day to prep out food. If you are busy, cool. That gives you a reason to order your food ahead of time and go do grocery pickup. Like, if you've had, like, whatever it may be, my kids keep me busy. My kids do this. My kids do that. Make them your reason then. Make them go work out with you. Make them go on a walk with you. Like, you can't use your excuses forever.
Yeah.
But if you start to think of your excuses as your reason versus the reason you can't do something, it's going to change everything.
Yeah. I literally had a business client yesterday. She has decided to homeschool her kid. And so her kid's young. He's only in kindergarten right now. And so she was explaining to me like how the homeschool schedule works. And she was like, it's going to be really hard because like I pretty much have to just keep him entertaining and engaged all day until like my husband comes home. And one of her goals, because we had basically laid out, we were like, what is the professional cadence we need to follow? And then what are like the personal cadences we need to follow? And one of her personal cadences was like, I just need to walk more. She was like, I literally just need to like get on my feet and walk more. So I said, cool. How about this? You're homeschooling your son. Go on nature walks. Like, go on a walk with him and be like, make it a fun game. Like, hey, we're going to find everything that's like blue. We're going to go find all the things that are blue on this like mile long walk with my kid. And I'm just going to like, it's going to be slow. It's going to slow you down a little bit. But like, maybe that's the whole point. Maybe the point is sometimes to slow down and be challenged to that and to see different modalities at which we can achieve our goals. And she's a coach herself, you know, she's literally trying to figure it out. And she was like, wow, like that's actually such a good idea. You can habit stack those things together. I even told her too, I was like, have a 30-minute closing shift. Like I do this every single night where for 30 minutes, I'm on my feet and I'm wrapping up things. I'm doing the dishes. I'm putting laundry away. Like I'm doing things I don't want to do. Trust me, I'd much go rather lay horizontal. But when I've been sitting all day, I know I need to do it. So like you just find a way when you're willing to go that far for yourself.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Just do it. Just do the damn thing.
Do the damn thing. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. It's a great place over here once you start doing it. And like the version of yourself that you are going to be a year from now, if you just commit now to it, is something you can't even imagine. Because to Kelsey's point, I thought that 50K months were literally ridiculous. I was like, that's never going to happen. I was like, I was the girl who was like, I just want 10 clients paying $300 a month and I'll be happy. Like that was so me. And you don't know. But if it wasn't for mentors that pushed me, I would have never gotten there. Like I would have never known that for myself. And so it's really cool when you do push yourself and do just honestly make it happen. And like, you never know where you're going to be in a year.
Yeah, we're not any better than you are. It's just that we hold ourselves to a higher standard. So I feel like this talk probably to some people could come off as like, oh, wow, you guys just like think you're better than everyone. I'm like, fuck, if that's what you have to believe, then yeah, I think I'm better than you. Like, that's the thought I have to get me to do the thing. It's like, that may sound harsh, but if I have to, like, if you have to have that thought process, like, I'm way better than that person because I'm doing this thing, fuck it. That's honestly, I have to tell myself that sometimes. Like, I have to go do this thing because I'm better than this population of people. I'm better than this. Like, if that's the thought you have to believe, that's never a thought that crosses my mind. It's just like, I want to be better than myself. Like, I want to be the best version of myself. That's my thought. But if that's the thought you have to believe, I don't care. I don't care what you have to do. Put yourself in the box above other people. And that's the thing. Like, we aren't any better than anyone else. We just hold ourselves to a higher standard than other people hold to themselves, and we get
And
the
that's
thing
going to
done.
come across not great to somebody. And for anyone listening, as you elevate into the higher standard of yourself, some people aren't going to love it. And you're just
Yeah.
going to have to work through that, and don't use it as a reason not to. The last two things I wanted to say to that point is I had one of my clients, Paul, actually yesterday, he did his check-in and he was talking about how he went to like some party. He lives in California, and there were a lot of like wealthier individuals at this party, like a lot of people that are just like well above him. And he was like, I just felt so uncomfortable. Like, I felt like, who am I to be in this room? Like, all these things. And going into my into his check-in, I went in and I was like, dude, like, I want to be in that room. Can you invite me next time? Because I was like, I want to be in a room with people who are actually above me. I
Yeah.
want to surround myself with people who are in fact better than me. Like, I don't see it as a bad thing. If someone's better than me, yeah, they probably are, because they're probably doing something that I haven't done yet or gotten to
Yep.
that point. And he was like, that was such a good perspective. He was like, I didn't think about that, because you think of like the box you're in, you don't think about the box you could be in. And for him, I just was literally like, cool, invite me next time, because I'll take your spot in that room. Like, I want to be with people who are, making millions of dollars. And to Kelsey's point of like, some people are going to take this message the wrong way. We are simply a reflection of the habits that we have done every single day. Every single person walking this earth is a reflection of the life and the habits that they have allowed themselves to live. Obviously, there's different spectrums and, extremes to that. But the big thing is just like, you can do that too. We've just done things that most people don't want to do. Like, and that's what success takes. It takes doing things that most people don't want to do. And that includes doing the workouts and doing the tracking, and then, building a business and having boundaries and working long hours sometimes, because most people are not going to do that, which is why such a small percentage of people in the world are entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's easy to be. There's like that trend of like, oh, she's so lucky. It's like, no, I just did the thing. Like, there's no luck to it. I just did the thing. Some people are dealt a worse hand than others, but regardless of what hand you were dealt, you just have to do the thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's huge. And I think when you can actually be in a room with, like you said, people that are higher than you. I think of a close friend that we have that he is like a badass business owner and makes very great money for himself. And I just look at that and he's like, came from literally nothing and has just made so, and it's just because he just did the hard thing. He's like, I literally bought my first business and I had $200 in my bank account, but I just went and asked a bunch of people for like loans, and that is how he did. He's like, didn't go through a bank. And yeah, I think that's just like a small piece. I always just think about him because he is very like an inspiration to me, because I'm like, damn, like you literally just do the thing. Like, you don't give a shit what anybody else thinks, and you just do it. And now as a result, you're a very successful person before the age of 40. And so if you need to like just fill yourself, like put yourself in the room with people who are above you, because I promise you, you will be, well, hopefully you look at it as a way to just be motivated to do better versus looking at it as a threat.
100%. This has been a very motivational chit chat. I hope that you guys do take this as more of a light the fire under your ass feeling of like what you need to do. And I would challenge you all to go audit yourselves over this next week. Like, go do a time audit on yourself, go audit your social media, go audit your conversations and your check-ins and all the things that you're doing, and allow yourself to, from there, decide what needs to happen without using the but. Like, remove the but. Instead of looking at it and being like, oh, I really need to hire that business mentor, but say, okay, I really need to hire that business mentor. Let me go look at how I can make that happen. Let me go reach out to some people. Let me go do my research. You can also use the word despite. I actually like switching that in place. It's saying like, hey, I hired a business coach despite having this, right? It's sometimes it's like, I showed up to the gym despite feeling unmotivated. So removing but and putting despite into your vocabulary goes a long way too, because that's something that's really helped me stay grounded. And I hope that you guys can just have some takeaways. And if you are struggling, Kelsey and I shameless plug, we're here. This is what we do. This is the bread and butter to what we love, and why we merged in the first place was to actually have more of a capacity to serve entrepreneurs and to serve coaches and just high level individuals itself. So we're here and we're happy to help. And even if that's just a chat to start, like, there's no harm in it.
Yep. Amen. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye, friends.
Bye.